So I'm just standing here in this site cut on one of our current projects, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to talk to people about allowances. Allowances in a building contract are something that I think are really misunderstood. They can cause a lot of area for conflict and difficult situations and conversations and all those types of things on jobs. So I wanted to give you a real life example of why we put things in our building contracts as allowances. So on this particular job here, you can see behind me, we've got a 2.2 metre site cut. So in this particular contract, on this build that we're doing here, we've actually got dump fees for the soil removal, we've got truck hire for the soil removal, and we've got earthworks in the contract as 3 separate allowances. And the reason we've got those in is because it is extremely difficult to know and work out the costs of exactly what this work's going to cost. So obviously we've been doing this for a long time now. I've been in the industry 27 years, been running out my own business now for I think 16, 17 years. We've got enough experience and enough knowledge to get it very close. So it's not like we're just throwing a lowball figure at it and leaving it out for the owner to just pay whatever it ends up costing. Like, we still have to put a lot of time into calculating what we think it's going to cost. So to be able to do that off these drawings, so on the plans, you should always make sure you've got a natural ground level. So many people don't do detailed surveys before they start their design process. So a detailed survey tells you the exact contours, the heights and everything of the existing land before you start doing any work. Then on the new drawings, the designer or the architect puts all the finished heights. So on this particular job, we've obviously got the contours and the existing heights way up here, and that gives us all the fall of the land, all the shape. And then on the new drawings, it's given us this height that we've cut down to, and it's given us the footprint of the new build. So based off those things, we can calculate roughly how many cubic meters of soil are going to come out of here. So once I've worked out the cubic meters, I can then work out the machine hire. We know from experience roughly how many cubic meters a machine is going to actually be able to physically dig out each day. Being in a city here, we can only get 10 cubic meter dump trucks on site, which obviously means there's a lot more truck hire and things take a lot longer. The turnaround time to take the soil from here to the dumping site has to be considered. Obviously you're going to have peak hour traffic in the morning and the afternoon. So on this particular site here, we're actually only getting 5 to 6 loads a day out of here, and that's purely based on the turnaround time to the dump because of the traffic and the site, the parking and all those types of things. So the other thing we've got to consider here is the size of the machine that we can use. If this site cut was done out on a larger site where we could get a 10 or a 15 or 20 ton excavator, whatever suited the project, this would actually be done in 1 or 2 days. Because of our limited access here, tight street, we can obviously only fit a certain size machine on this site to do the works. In this particular case, it was a 4.5 ton excavator. So the earthworks, and to get it to the stage we're at now, actually took 5.5 days. So there is so many calculations to be done, so much consideration into location, street, access, type of soil. So we'll get on that now. So every job has to have a soil test. The soil test tells us the type of ground so that the engineer can work out the foundations, the slab requirements, all the bracing in the frame and all those types of things. So from our soil test on this site, and again, it comes back to our pack process. I come to site. I'm always on site when the soil tests are getting done on our projects, and that is so I can actually watch the machine drilling the soil, and I can see what types of soil they're hitting, and I can ask questions. I can talk to the drill operator and about the types of soil, if he's hitting rock, how deep he hit rock and all those types of things. So even though a soil test, when you finally get it back, will have all that information on it, I've found over the years it's been incredibly valuable, me being on site during those times. But the soil test tells us the type of soil on the site. And from our soil test here, we knew we were going to hit a lot of rock. And as you can see behind me, it's not a very hard rock, but it's still a rock. Considering the size machine that we had on site, we had to use a rock breaker. So generally, as soon as you hit rock on any type of site, it's a latent condition. So this video is covering lots of topics, but it's a very valuable one. A latent condition is anything that's unforeseen at the time of signing a building contract. Rock is one of those things. So if you can see behind me here, you'll see the line in the ground. You can actually see the level of topsoil. So on this particular site, we've only got, depending on the different areas, anywhere from only 200 to 400 millimeters of topsoil. And then we start to hit this really sort of dense clay type material. And then we start moving down to the shale rock, which is very hard. And if we go up to other areas of the site here, it actually turned to a very dark blue and a really hard rock. So we worked it out the best we could based off past experience, working out the cubic meters based off the detailed survey and the final drawings, how many cubic meters. We then worked out what size machine we could fit on this site to do the works. And we worked out how many days we assumed that was going to take. So we're actually pretty close with that one at the moment. The next one was truck hire. So the reason we have truck hire as an allowance on this job is because of location, because it's a tight site, it's a very tight street with limited parking, and we'd have to deal with peak hour traffic mornings and afternoons. And because at the moment, this year, we're getting so much wet weather, the dumps can close. If we get a lot of rain, the dumps can shut and you may not be able to take soil there. So from this particular site, we've got about 4 or 5 locations that we can dump the soil at, and they range from being anywhere from 20 minutes away to 45 minutes away. So that obviously determines how many loads we're going to be able to get out of the site each day. And then the other one is the dump fees for that soil. And again, the dump fees change depending on the dump that we take the soil to. Some dumps take it for free, some dumps charge us a cubic meter rate for it, some dumps charge per truck. So look, that's how allowances work. And allowances aren't an item that you should be scared of. Allowances are something that you need to make sure you're choosing a builder that actually puts in a lot of time and effort to work out what those allowances need to be, and you want your allowances to be realistic. So that there is giving you a bit of an outline and a bit of a brief of why building contracts need to have allowances, because things like this particular job here, earthworks, truck hire and dump fees, are very unknown because there are so many things that are out of my control. Myself as a builder, I don't know what the traffic's going to be like. I don't know what dump we're going to have to go to. I don't know how hard the rock's going to be, how long it's going to take to dig out and all those types of things. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an insight and hopefully a little bit of confidence if you're thinking about building or renovating and you're dealing with builders and you've got allowances in your contract. Yeah, let us know if you've got any questions, and we're always here to help.